Something big is happening on Wall Street, something that could reshape the direction of the entire U.S. economy. The world's largest bank, JPMorgan Chase, isn't just investing, it's betting trillions on the future of America. CEO Jamie Dimon just unveiled what's being called the $1.5 trillion bet, a sweeping strategy to pour money into critical industries like defense, clean energy, infrastructure, and artificial intelligence. It's not a headline stunt, it's a long-term repositioning, and it's raising one big question. Why is JP Morgan suddenly trying to rebuild America's industrial base from the ground up? Let's unpack this. For decades, big banks made their money lending to corporations, trading markets, and managing assets. But Dimon's new strategy goes far beyond finance. He wants JP Morgan to become a backbone of America's economic revival, financing factories, chip plants, military tech, and new energy systems. It's an enormous shift, one that could define the next era of U.S. capitalism. Dimon says it's about resilience, about rebuilding the foundations that make an economy strong. Because for too long, he argues, the U.S. has relied on fragile global supply chains and foreign resources. He's warned repeatedly that America has become too dependent on unreliable partners for energy, semiconductors, and even defense materials. So now, instead of watching from the sidelines, JP Morgan is jumping in. The plan: mobilize up to $1.5 trillion in capital over the next several years to support domestic manufacturing, resource extraction, AI infrastructure, and national defense. Think of it as a new form of economic statecraft, only this time it's being led by the private sector. It's not just talk either. JP Morgan has already started building specialized banking teams for what it calls strategic industries. These teams focus on sectors critical to national security, like rare earth mining, quantum computing, aerospace, and advanced manufacturing. The bank is recruiting top engineers, defense experts, and tech strategists, not just financiers. Dimon wants JP Morgan to operate at the intersection of business, innovation, and policy. So why now? Because the global landscape is shifting fast. China's industrial dominance, the weaponization of trade, and the AI arms race have all shown that economic power is strategic power. The U.S. government knows it. That's why Washington has been pouring billions into industrial subsidies through programs like the CHIPS Act and Inflation Reduction Act. But those programs only work if private capital steps in. That's where JP Morgan comes in. Dimon sees an opportunity to align national interest with corporate strategy and make massive profits doing it. It's classic capitalism with a twist: patriotic profit. But there's also something deeper going on here, a recognition that the old model of globalization is breaking down. For 30 years, banks financed the outsourcing of manufacturing overseas. Labor was cheaper, supply chains were efficient, and profits soared. But when COVID, war, and geopolitics disrupted everything, that model cracked. Now the future of business looks less global and more strategic, and JP Morgan is moving early to dominate that space. Dimon's Bet on America initiative isn't just about loans, it's about long-term positioning. The bank is funding green hydrogen projects, investing in advanced AI firms, backing quantum startups, and expanding financing for semiconductor fabs. Each move targets a choke point in America's economic armor: energy independence, AI leadership, and manufacturing strength. This is also a major statement about the role of private capital. Instead of waiting for Washington, JP Morgan is acting like a shadow industrial policy. It's deciding what industries matter most and funding them at scale. In many ways, it's a return to old-school capitalism, when banks didn't just trade stocks but built railroads, funded oil fields, and shaped nations. And it's not just about patriotism, it's also smart business. The AI revolution, defense spending boom, and energy transition are creating trillion-dollar opportunities. By positioning itself early, JP Morgan ensures it owns the financial infrastructure behind that growth. It becomes the bank behind every major American comeback story, from chip fabs in Arizona to AI data centers in Texas to green energy projects across the Midwest. But this move isn't without risk. Critics say it ties JPMorgan too closely to political agendas. If administrations change or policies shift, those investments could be exposed. Others warn that chasing strategic industries could lead to moral hazards, prioritizing nationalism over pure market logic. Still, Diamond seems unfazed. He believes this is the logical next step for capitalism, a blend of profit, policy, and patriotism, and frankly, few others have the scale to do it. JPMorgan has $4.1 trillion in assets and operations in over 60 countries. When it decides to pivot, entire sectors feel it. What's even more interesting is the timing. As Wall Street grows increasingly obsessed with short-term trading and AI stock mania, Diamond is thinking long-term, decades ahead. He's betting that America's future lies not in speculation but in reconstruction, that the next economic supercycle won't come from digital ads or crypto tokens, but from steel, silicon, and AI-powered infrastructure. And history may prove him right. Every major U.S. economic boom, from the railroads to the post-war industrial age to the tech revolution, started with massive private investment in national capabilities. Diamond's move might be the spark that ignites the next one. This $1.5 trillion initiative could end up defining a new era, where the line between government and corporate power blurs, and where national strength becomes the ultimate business strategy. It's bold, it's risky, and it's exactly the kind of move that separates leaders from followers. Because while other banks chase quarterly profits, JPMorgan is trying to shape the future of the country it calls home. This isn't just another investment, it's a statement that America's next great chapter won't be written in Silicon Valley or Washington alone. It'll be written in boardrooms, factories, and labs, financed by the biggest bank in the nation. Jamie Dimon's $1.5 trillion bet isn't just about money, it's about momentum. It's about confidence in American industry, American innovation, and American resilience. If this bet pays off, it won't just reshape JPMorgan, it could redefine how capitalism itself works in the 21st century. Because sometimes the biggest risk of all is not betting on your own country,